for for me as well to be more involved, right? So as we already know, um, the topic for today from the flyers is peace over fights, and it's such a common thing, and it's a very sensible thing, right? Like obviously you choose peace over fights, but I'm also of the thought that sometimes you need fights. Sometimes you do need to fight. Sometime to get something across, right? You want to prove something. But that's always your last resort. There are wars that happen. It's not the first thing that comes in place, right? There's obviously a whole lot of negotiations, there's compromises, things that happen, and then the end product is that. And that's what I want to get into today. Why do we have to choose peace and calm over the actions that we do when it comes to fighting? Now, what are the things? Why do arguments happen in the first place? Whether it's among us as, say, among siblings, with our parents, with our partners, with our colleagues, with our schoolmates, whoever it is, right? Why do they happen? It's because either we feel they're ignoring us, they're not involving us in things. We feel jealous, we are angry, we don't feel like they're understanding us. We feel that we want to be right all the time, so we want to prove our points. We fight and we argue and we reach that point, right? And the one of the things that I want to mention in this is that throughout the message is that the verse from Proverbs 15:1, it says, a gentle answer turns away anger, but a harsh one, stirs up wrath. And that's as easy as, and I'm sure there's no need to explain it, right? It's very easy to understand what we're doing. We've experienced it as well in our lives. And what I want to say is arguing is fine. It's normal. We've all been taught to say that, hey, don't argue with your siblings, don't argue with your friends, like don't argue with me as parents. It's always seen as bad. It's always like we are not taught to be to handle conflict well, and it's always bad, right? But we are all at an age where we want to question so much, like why should I do it or why shouldn't I do it, and why are you telling me to do certain things, right? And and it's okay. I want to tell you that feeling angry is fine, but what you do out of it, what the actions that you take when you are angry is what we have to see, whether it's right or wrong, and how we make the wrong things into right things that we can do, how we can maintain like a sense of peace and calm throughout all of this. So one of the examples that I want to take is I believe should be one of the first sibling fights in our Bible is between Cain and Abel. They fought over, they were the first, they were the sons of Adam and Eve. Abel was a shepherd. He gave like the best of his offering to God. Cain was farmer. He gave his, offering to God as well. But God favored one of the brothers, right? And the other brother was like, what? Like, I gave what I could as well. Like, why are you favoring him? Instantly feeling jealous, right? And angry. And what happened after being jealous is what the brother did to the other brother, right? Like, so we all know that story and what happened and what were the consequences. So we see that one of them was jealous and angry, and then it led to bigger problems. And one of the things mostly I've heard this with, I'd say, people who are going to get married or in relationships is that don't go to bed angry, right? Don't go to bed angry. That's the verse that I would put here is from Ephesians 4:26. Be angry and do not sin, and do not go to bed. Do not let the sun go down on your anger. It's very easy to say. It's the most difficult thing to do. I'm married for 6 years. Both me and my partner are very different type of people. I would like to solve the problem right now and finish talking about it and leave, while he is somebody who's like, no, I'll talk to you later when I'm calm. And I'm like, no, that's not just how it's going to happen, right? And we had to go through a series, like years and years of just conditioning both of us to figure out. And we both know how to make each other angry. It's one of the most enlightening things in the marriage. Like, I exactly know how to really get my partner angry, and he knows it as well. So, how do we deal with this? How do we deal with this, right? And he doesn't sleep that early. He sleeps at like 3, 4 a.m. while I am sleeping at like 11, 12. Like, how am I supposed to go to bed without not feeling angry, right? I have to sleep and he's not going to go to bed. So it's not as easy it's so easy to just say, oh, don't go to bed. And like, we've had marriage counseling before getting married. They're like, oh, you should solve everything. No, it's easy for you to say. It's not easy for me to happen. I'm going to go to bed when it's my bedtime, and that's easy as that. But eventually you will realize it's not going to work out for you. You are not going to go to bed peacefully. The next day is not going to be peaceful for the both of you. And it's not just in marriages. It's just like if you fight with your parents, if you fight with your siblings, like, you're in the same space, you're going to see them over and over again. This is not going to be comfortable for anybody. Why put yourself in that position? Why say? And in all of this, we are not just arguing and going our separate ways. We say so many harsh things. We say things that we want to hurt them, right? Like, we are not small or young enough to be like, oh, I didn't mean that. No, you mean everything. You want to really make the other person feel bad, right? It's as easy as that. Like, you want the other person to feel down and whatever, and that's the action that we shouldn't be doing. That's the action we've got to reduce. And in this example of Cain and Abel, we see that jealousy is okay, that being jealous is fine, that feeling of jealousy is fine, but hey, don't beat your sibling up once you're feeling angry. Like, relax, try to calm down, and then go back and talk, right? Choose what's the right thing to do. It's okay even if you take time, but choose the best thing to do. Another example we see in the Bible is between another sibling, Jacob and Esau. Both of them, again, one of them tricked their father to get the blessing that the other person was supposed to get. Now, this other sibling is super angry, like, because they tricked him. They got the blessing that you're supposed to get. And they went their separate ways. They were angry. They went their separate ways, didn't talk for a long time. But when they when they were united, they forgave each other, and it was peaceful. It was peaceful when they met, and then from then on, it was peaceful. So in this, what we see is the next step. Forgiving the other person can heal you and the other person. Now, forgiveness, we've mostly heard, hey, forgive the other person, forgive the other person. But in a lot of this, it affects you as a person as well. And you have to sometimes forgive yourself to, ask God to, like, forgive both of the people in this argument, is to forgive the person that you've hurt and forgive yourself for saying all of those things and going through it. So you have to be kind to one another. There is no other option for us. There is literally no option for us to be not kind. These are the ways when we go out into the world, when we are, we want to be representatives of God. We want to hold the characteristics of God. And sometimes we think, right, like, how do I be a Christian in the outer world? Like, I know how to be a Christian in my house and in my church. I don't know how to be outside. These are the small values that you carry along. And eventually it gets to a point where you are able to hold your character and say, like, this, I follow Jesus, and this is the result that I get from it, right? That you're able to calm yourself down in the right place. You're able to forgive the other person. You are able to build stronger relationships out of this. And again, in Ephesians 4:32, it says, be kind to one another, right? Be kind to one another, forgiving one another, because God forgave you. right? Simple. There is no beating around the bush. Just because God forgave you, you have to. You have to do it. It's one of those mandatory things that you take. You have to forgive the other person, right? In like I said, in one of the before we were getting married, we had marriage counseling by my partner's pastors, and they told, "Oh, your communication is great, blah blah blah. Great, keep it at it. But when you fight, there is certain things that you've got to figure out." And they said, say like, one of the things, practical solutions they gave was, say I feel, when the other person's shouting and yelling and saying mean things, tell them, I feel upset when you're yelling at me. I feel upset when you're doing this and that. And both of our reactions was like, yeah, because we want them to feel bad. That's exactly why we're saying the mean things. We are not saying it to feel good. Like we've grown up enough to understand that. We're not saying because we don't mean it, or it's out of line, or we are not present in that argument. But it's literally because we want them to feel bad. Um, and it was like, you're saying this in front of pastors that you've been with. And, it's like surprising for them to learn so much about us that like, oh, you really want to hurt people. Like, that's not our point, right? Like, that's when you break down and be like, okay, why do you want to do this? And how can we make it better? How can we, why should we be at peace? And one of the things, that we read from the Bible is that blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. We have a position to hold. We have a position in our family as Christians in the church and God, that we have to be the peacemakers. And how you deal with this is very individualistic. I will come to that practical aspect of it, but that's our role in Christ. That's our role in our family. That's our role in whoever we interact with, is to be peacemakers. And so first, if we need to be peacemakers outside, we need to be peacemakers at our own home. We need to be peacemakers with our individual arguments, right? Interactions that we have. And in Romans 12:18, it says, if it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone, right? And there's so much, even in this, it's like, as much as possible, as much as you can, do it. Do it. Try to do it as much as you can. And that's what we are trying, right? We are all either leaders already out in the world. We are going to be leaders of the world, and we have to portray those steps. Be wise enough, take steps that will lead you to positions where you can make peace, where you have the position to calm things down, right? Not be people who put others down, who say things, who are judgmental, who want to create more arguments. That's not going to help any of us around, in any of our environments. So try to be as peacemakers as possible. Because when we hold bigger positions, there's a lot more people, there's a lot more authority that comes to you, and a lot more people that you're accountable for. And in all of those times, it's very easy to shut somebody down, to say something rude and mean and be unkind, while, or like to stir things up. There are a lot of people who love drama, and it's very entertaining to see, but it's entertaining. We can keep it at that length. It's just entertaining to, if that's the kind of entertainment you like, watch it, but from far. Don't include that in your life. Like, that shouldn't be your life. And so try as much as possible to be as calm as possible. Now, how can we do this, right? How can we do it? First thing, like I said, if the I feel statement works for you, good, go for it. If somebody is responding to that and if you are getting it, great, go for it. Didn't work for me, but I will say that's one of the things that works for a lot of people. And try to apply it. Try to apply it in your lives. Say sorry when you're wrong. Say, it's difficult to apologize, hurts a lot of egos, puts your self-respect down, but sometimes you've gotta gotta apologize. I am the kind of person who would never apologize if I think I've done nothing wrong. I am not going to do it. However, it took me a lot of time to just know that if my that's my right, like I don't apologize because I don't think I've done something wrong, but for the other person I've definitely done something wrong. And you apologizing, if that's going to calm down the situation, do it. Put your it's fine. It'll break you down little by little. Every time you apologize for something that you feel you've not done anything wrong, it'll break you think you're losing your personality, you think you're losing your self-respect. It will happen. You will go through all of those things. However, you will slowly see the effects. You will see that, okay, even though I've done nothing wrong, sometimes diffusing that situation is much better than creating more out of it. So say sorry when you're wrong. Um, and I'm not saying every time you have an argument, you must feel that you should apologize for everything and anything you do. But if you feel like you are right in certain ways, but say you've yelled at somebody, but you've said the right things, you've stated facts, or like that's the right thing to say, you can be sorry about being rude. You could have said that in a very normal tone, but there's a way to say it, right? So there's different, so you have to analyze the situation, understand what and how you can calm things down and apologize. And you have to forgive. Now, apologizing comes with forgiving the other person as well. They both go hand in hand. As much as you are apologizing for what you've done, you have to forgive the other person for have done the exact same things or more. You think they're essentially wrong in an argument, so uh, you have to forgive them. It could be for so many reasons. They don't know about certain things. They're talking out of line. They think they're right. They're just thinking as you. And so you have to forgive them at that point, and then try to diffuse that situation. If both of you don't know what to do, and both of you are like, this is not working out, ask a third party for help. Somebody who is neutral and who's not going to support either of you, but who's neutral, ask them. At this point, I don't know if I believe all of you are either in school or like in universities. I don't know if that level of argument would reach at this point, but probably when you go like in workplaces or in like relationships, it's going to happen. You might think you're going to have a rosy life, everything's great. I thought that too, and no. Let me break that down for you. It is going to come, because that's just how the nature of people are. We all have different opinions, and it's fine. You have to deal with it, and those days will come. So in all of this, try to get all of this help. Be calm yourself and be kind. Kind words, being honest, it goes a long way. It helps other people understand what your perspective is. And eventually, because you are kind and like you were honest with the other person, they're not going to go back with like a bad mindset. They're going to come off thinking, oh, okay, this is, we had an argument, but we didn't come out of this like being like the other person's bad, or they just have ill intentions, right? Try walking off, and not walking off in the middle of an argument without saying anything, but try walking off saying that, hey, I need 5 minutes, I need a day to calm down, and I'll come back to talk to you. I will come talk to you. Don't leave it to the other person to figure out when you're calm, but I will come and talk to you, and we'll figure this out. Um, as much as probably the other person may or may not like it, you have to try and tell them. Like if we continue this conversation, we are both going to get angry. We're going to say things that, shouldn't be said. And so let's talk when we are calm, when we can actually understand each other's perspective and we are ready to understand. So walk away sometimes. Sometimes keep a pen and paper, write it hand, and just, when once you're done walking away and you still have the anger within you, scribble on it. If you want to draw, sure, but just like scribble, really hard on a paper. It's just taking your anger out. If you're, I don't know, if you're I've felt like, if when I used to do boxing, I just have to think about the person when I'm boxing. I know that I am not actually beating the other person up, but it takes your anger out from you. And you're like, after that, you're calm, you're super happy because it's not no longer in you. These are all, like I'm saying, these are not, I want to preface by saying these are not like things that are written in the Bible or anything, okay? Like, but these are practical ways to do it in our day-to-day life. Like we cannot always have like, oh, let me go and pray. No, it's not that easy to just be in a fight and then be like, God help me. If it's that easy for you, that's actually amazing, because that's the point you want to reach to, right? You want to be reaching to that level where you're like, no, I want to, like, think about it, let me pray, and we'll come back and figure this out. But these are the steps to it. You have to take steps to reach to your endpoint. So yeah, like one of them would be to pray. If you've already reached the level where you're like super calm, I can figure this out, I'm not a big, I'm great at conflict resolution, both of you are on the same page, go back, pray about it. There are the fact that we have so many examples that people in the Bible have related. Us as Christians, we know about these characters from the Bible. We know that we can relate. We know that this is how things work, right? And so we are able to relate and understand and then apply that in our lives. So yeah, so if you are able to go into the Bible, read about it, pray, I would say that's the end goal. That's where you have to reach. And once you reach that place, you're able to, sail really smoothly in an argument and not say harsh things. You've reached the point where you're like, okay, I'm able to be calm and kind and collected, and then reach this place where we can come back together after having prayed together or individually. So one of the things that another verse that I will say is that it says in Ecclesiastes 7:9, it says, "Do not be quickly provoked, for anger resides in fools." At this point, I would say at some point or the other, we've all been fools. Do we all like to hear that? No. Do we want to be called fools? No. We all want to be smart and wise and whatever, right? Like all the good things. But that's what it is, right? You don't want to be quickly provoked. When we go out into the world, right now, if we are in a Christian setting, we are in a place where people understand how we behave and act, they all can work around us. At some point when we are put in a position where nobody knows us, we are not in a place, that's not the thought process of the other person, and they can provoke you in so many professions. That's the whole point of the profession, is to provoke you, is to manipulate you, is to get you to say things, and get you to get angry, right? You want to be put in positions where you are not able to take that. You're not going to take such provocations. You're not being manipulated by people who want you to say bad things, who want you to say harsh things. So keep in mind about that every time, is that you don't want to be coming across as a fool. And immediately you will put your guard up. You will have that in your mind. So what I would like for you guys to take away from this is figure out what's your way of handling conflict. Figure it out. Find out how you're going to do it. Because you're going to have an argument sometime or the other, probably very soon, hopefully not soon, but you're going to have an argument at some point of time. So you figure out how you're going to deal with it, and know that there are very practical ways to deal with it. And there are different, like I've just said two situations from the Bible, but there are so many arguments in the Bible that we can read about and know how they've dealt with it, how they've dealt with it. And there are ways that we can apply that in our life. And I believe that's one of the reasons, right? There are so many things written in the Bible is for you to use what works for you, what has worked for you, and how you can implement in your life. And so I'd say ask God, how can you help um, calm down? How can you be kind in these situations? How can you forgive the other person? It's very difficult. All of these things that I've said, I'm very aware that it's very easy for me to say, but it's very difficult to do. So I'm not putting down the fact that if you're not able to do it, or you're already doing it and you've reached that level, still keep pushing that forward, right? How much more can you do? How much more can you do? Because we do that in our personal lives. We push with our studies, we push with our extracurricular activities. We try not to get angry with our loved ones, but we're okay with somebody random coming and saying, and we'll be calm with them actually. Like a person who we don't love, who we don't really care about, we'll be calm with them, but the people who we live with or we hang around with, we'll be super angry with them because we just automatically expect that they should understand us and what we are going through. So be calm at your own homes, be calm at with your friends, and but again, anger is fine. The action that you take is what you have to really assess. Yeah, that's my word of the day, and I hope that you think about this, take this forward. The next time you have an argument, think about me. Think about what I said. If you have enough time between an argument. But yeah, I really hope that you're able to relate with characters from the Bible and take something forward. And I hope that God speaks to you in those times. Yeah, thank you so much for, once again, for having me here. It's always an honor to be